Tibidabo may be the world's most scenic amusement park. Located atop a giant hill overlooking Barcelona, this park offers stunning views from pretty much any vantage point. It also happens to be one of the strangest parks between the collection of one-of-a-kind rides and the overall park setup. So in this video, I will review Tibidabo and explain why this place is well worth visiting. Quite simply, you will not find a park like it anywhere else. The park is located in northern Barcelona atop Mount Tibidabo. This is a 1,680 foot or 512 meter tall hill. The name Tibidabo is a Latin phrase translating to "I will give to you." Per Bible historians, the devil said these words to Jesus as they stood atop a mountain staring down the kingdoms. In the late 1800s, Salvador Andreu spearheaded an ambitious project to urbanize Mount Tibidabo. This would include a basilica, a neighborhood, and for the sake of this review, an amusement park. The latter would be named Tibidabo Amusement Park officially. For the sake of simplicity, any instance of the word Tibidabo from this point forwards will refer to the park. This park opened back in 1905, making it Spain's oldest operating amusement park, and the third oldest in all of Europe. While the park has added modern rides over the years, the heart and soul of the park is still a series of observation rides that are older in nature. The suspended monorail is over 100 years old, and a few other rides are approaching the century mark as well, including the Avio plane ride that serves as the park's icon. This park's location is undeniably cool, but it can make it a bit more complicated to access than usual. If you have a car, you can park atop the hill. You have a series of slow and windy roads leading up there. However, this parking lot is quite small and has just 500 spaces, so it can and will fill up. The park allows you to book these spaces at least 24 hours in advance on their website, and I highly recommend doing so to guarantee a spot. This costs a reasonable €13 per day. Alternatively, you can use public transit. This is the most convenient way to access the park if you're staying within Barcelona. It is also the most utilized and interesting way to reach the park, as you use a funicular. This is an attraction in itself, and it offers some beautiful views of Barcelona. Try to stand at the end of the train looking down the track for the best view. The tram station you want to use is Cuca de Llum. The closest metro station is Penitence, and it's roughly 1 mile from there. But you have a few buses that go directly to the tram station. They leave from a few different places in downtown Barcelona. I recommend using the public transit page on the park website and/or Google Maps to determine the most convenient option from where you are in Barcelona. If you have a car, you can park nearby and walk over to the funicular if you still want that experience. The tram station doubles as an admission booth for the park. You can purchase tram tickets alone if you have no intention of visiting the theme park. Or if you buy a ride pass to Tibidabo, you get a round-trip ride in the funicular. The journey takes just a few minutes. They run roughly every 15 minutes. They start running from 45 minutes prior to park open and run for up to an hour past park close, but check the schedule online to confirm. Now I need to talk about this park's setup. It is weird. I have never seen another park structured quite like Tibidabo. As mentioned earlier, the park is built on a hill. There are a lot of parks like this, but this park is designed with multiple levels almost like an office building or a mall. You have 5 levels. The upper level is commonly referred to as the panoramic area. This area interestingly is free admission. This is where the park's premier observation rides are all located. These rides are great for all ages, as long as you don't have a fear of heights. The views beat what you get most observation decks at famous tourist attractions around the world. There is also an area way behind the observation rides that includes a few kiddie rides. If you only want to experience the panoramic attractions, you can purchase an emblematic rides pass for €19. If you want to experience these rides plus the park's lower 4 levels, you need to purchase a day pass. As of 2023, this will cost you €35 per adult. If you bought your wristband online using an online QR code to board the tram, you grab your wristband at the ticket booth to the left of the main entrance. When you take the ramp between the panoramic area and level 5, an employee will check that you have a wristband. Alternatively, you have giant elevators that transport you between each level. These are manned by staff members who check that you have a band before admitting you. The elevators are the most convenient way to go between levels because they're easy to find. There are also staircases and ramps between each level. These are not always easy to spot though. Some look like backstage areas. Similarly, make sure to review the park map prior to your visit. There are nooks and crannies on each level of the park. This park isn't too large per se, as each level is quite narrow, but it is easy to miss attractions if you aren't careful. I recommend looking at the attraction list in advance to identify which rides you definitely want to try. Level 5 includes a handful of indoor attractions, plus the famous suspended monorail. Level 4 is even smaller than the prior one, only including the bumper cars and the park's revered haunted house. For whatever reason, the park skips level 3 and goes directly to level 2. This has the 3D theater and some smaller rides more geared towards children. Level 1, or the lower level, has the most rides. This includes the park's 2 roller coasters, some clusters of kiddie rides, and a few additional attractions. Tibidabo is close to year-round operations. The park's season runs from March all the way to early January. The park is always open on weekends, but a large chunk of the park tends to be closed for some or all weekdays. This even includes the summer months. There are several days when the park only opens the observation area or nothing at all, so definitely check the park's schedule prior to visiting. Closing time varies by day and month, but the park stays open as late as 10 p.m. in the summer. The park officially opens at 11 a.m., but it is worth noting the panoramic area tends to open early. This is a park where I highly recommend you get there as soon as they open. This park unfortunately has some really low capacity attractions. Some of them can routinely get 1 to 2 hour waits. This is not the fault of the operators. On the contrary, they can load rides quite quickly. The issue is that some, including some of the signature rides, accommodate a painfully low amount of people. It is also worth noting the park will close queue lines early if they get too long, so you really need to knock them out early. If you arrive at opening, I highly recommend starting with Avio. This iconic plane ride is one of a kind. It is the ride you want to try when you're at Tibidabo. It has a long cycle time and only seats 10 riders at a time. This line you see here looks short, but this took nearly 40 minutes. But speaking objectively, the Hiradabo Ferris wheel and especially the Talaya pendulum arm offer superior visuals with a much shorter wait. The other 4 rides that can get massive waits are Interact DB, Hotel Kruger, Mina d'Or, and Virtual Express. Of those 4, only Virtual Express opens with the park at 11. On that note, only a handful of rides open with the park here. Most of the remaining rides open at noon, so I would head to Virtual Express right after Avio. This is a Zamperla powered coaster. From 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., the line moves swiftly, but at 1 p.m., this coaster starts operating with virtual reality headsets, and the throughput craters. Dispatches take roughly 1000% longer because of the cumbersome process of securing everyone's headsets. While waiting for the other 3 low-capacity rides to open, I would take a few laps on Montagna Russa. This is the park's biggest coaster and has pretty good capacity, but if you head there early, you can get a few laps with no wait because it's in the lowermost back corner of the park. I would then go back up the hill for Interact DB and Hotel Kruger. Prioritize the latter. However, it can have funky hours. A schedule is typically posted on the website, but it can open later than the other attractions, and it also tends to close midday for the actors to take a break. If you cannot get on this when it opens for the day, I would try to hit it right after that break. There was signage in the queue line for a skip the line pass exclusively for this ride, but I couldn't find any information for it online, nor did the park appear to sell these when I visited in 2022. If locals know where and when these are offered, I'd love to know more. Interact TB is one of those Triotech XD Dark rides. This one only has a few seats and a long ride time, so the queue moves at a glacial rate. These are fun, but it's not a top priority if you've been on this type of ride elsewhere. These are routinely found at FECs where lower capacity is not an issue. The last ride that can build a big line is the Mina d'Or log flume on a hot day. This is the park's lone adult water ride, so it's understandable why it can draw a crowd. How much time you need depends on your interests. If you only care about the coaster credits, At worst, you can tackle this park in 2 hours, but I think you're doing yourself an extreme disservice skipping all the unique rides. I think this park can be done in a half day if, and this is a big if, you can avoid sizable waits for the aforementioned lower capacity rides. If you don't arrive at opening and encounter lengthy lines, you will likely need a large chunk of the park's operational day to see everything. That is especially true if you visit on a day with shorter hours. But this is a park I have no issue spending a day at. It is such a scenic park. Not only do the tall rides offer that stunning vista of Barcelona, but each level is a series of viewing decks offering sights fit for a postcard. There are so many photo ops as you make your way around the park. The main one is as you look down the hill, but you also see some more mountains and one of the world's most famous basilicas right behind you. Right next to the park's main entrance is Temple Expiatory del Sagrat Cor. This is a beautiful 121-year-old church. The tallest point stands roughly 300 feet or 90 meters tall, and is none other than a giant statue of Jesus sending a blessing down towards the city. Quite fitting given what Tibidabo means. This church is a tourist attraction in itself. It is free, unlike many basilicas in Barcelona. Many people go up the hill just for the church. I would recommend taking a small chunk of your day to go over and explore it if you're into impressive architecture. But back to Tibidabo. The park had a lot more greenery than I expected, especially for a city park. You see more greenery as you make your way deeper into the park. The panoramic areas midways and the queue lines for those rides are completely open, so make sure you pack sunscreen, especially if you get stuck in a long queue for a VO. This is also a good park to visit on a rainy day. Not only do several attractions keep you covered, but this is one of the many European parks that keeps everything open in the rain. I wish more parks in the US did this. Then I thought the general appearance of the park was quite good. The park was very clean, and rides looked fresh. And because of the multiple levels and integration of natural beauty, the park weirdly sort of feels like an ancient temple. If you want theming, you're not really going to get it with Tibidabo. Through and through, this is an amusement park. A few rides have some theming during the experience, but there's no cohesion ride to ride or special visuals along the midway. You do have a theme song that's bound to get stuck in your head though. All my interactions with employees were good. Many were extremely friendly. Others were more reserved and focused on loading things as quickly as possible, which is fine. If you're coming from overseas and don't speak Spanish, it is worth noting most employees are fluent in English. Now let's move on to the attraction lineup. There are some bizarre rides here, but I mean that in a good way. The best rides tend to be the ones with a view. That comes as no surprise given this park's location. There are a few that should not be missed. A VO is the most popular of the bunch. This is a one-of-a-kind plane on a stick that rotates in a circle, high above the hill. The inside is an authentic airplane cabin, so your view is constrained to the portholes on the side. For that reason, you definitely want to be on the right side for the best view of the city. While there are other rides in the park offering better sightlines, it is just so unique being in that classic cabin, and there is a degree of fear as you see the windows rattle at takeoff. However, if that has a long line, there are two alternatives. First is the Hirondabo SPF Visa Ferris wheel. This is on the upper level of the VO, and it offers a better view between the added height and more open gondolas. But if you want the best view, do not miss Talaya. Picture a booster or skyscraper style ride, but instead of rapidly spinning and flipping, you slowly rotate in a circle until you reach the max height of 164 feet or 50 meters. And there are no restraints. You're just standing in this big bucket. It's pretty freaky, especially because the ride is nearly 100 years old, but it's super neat having the freedom to move about and look in any direction. I was in awe how gorgeous it was up there, particularly at sunset. You can see for miles. Then you have the park's oldest ride, Embruixia Bruixas. This is a suspended monorail that's nearly 110 years old. The vehicles are way more open than your average monorail, which is pretty freaky when you're that high off the ground, especially because the cars can sway a bit on the turns. But the sights are wonderful. You see the city and get a tour of the nearby neighborhood. Then there are some tunnels with a few lighting effects, and there was an unexpected jump scare at the end. Spoiler alert, Skip ahead 10 seconds if you don't want to know what happens. An employee jumped out from a dark space screaming with a monster mask on right before the station. It was so unexpected. The other main ride with a view is Montagna Russa. This is the park's Vekoma family coaster. It's cleverly built on a wooded hillside. The first drop faces towards the city. You get that amazing view as you plummet down the hill. No coaster offers a better visual in my opinion. Then the layout has some sneaky force to it. The turn after the drop and far helix both have some intense positive Gs. And the coaster is super smooth too. The only force this ride is missing is some negative Gs, which I note in my review. The only other coaster here is Virtual Express. This is a weird Zamperla powered coaster. It has a long layout along the lower level of the park, but it doesn't really do anything. It just goes a long way out and then turns around, but it's good for kids. I would not mind seeing another coaster added, especially something with a bit more thrills to it. However, this park has always been more about families. That was further reinforced by the park removing their two most thrilling flats in the Ilfeid Pendulo Pendulum ride from Fabri and the Huracan Topspin from Huss. Both were replaced by kiddie rides. I can tolerate this gap because the park has plenty of enjoyable attractions, but I know this will be a deal breaker for some. Moving on to the flat rides beyond the aforementioned observation rides, Tibidabo only has a handful of others targeted towards adults. A few offer nice spinning, but they're more or less just filler attractions. Now let's move on to the dark rides. You have several worth touching on. The most notable is easily Hotel Kruger. This is a very nicely themed year-round haunted house, and it's a super long one too. This crushes most things at Universal's Halloween Horror Nights. It is that well done. The sets are detailed, and there are plenty of actors. Some engaged in longer 1 to 2 minute show scenes, others had well-timed jump scares. Skip ahead 20 seconds if you want to avoid spoilers for the two scariest parts. The best effect was this Chucky doll coming to life. I thought it was just a prop, but no. They had a small person as an actor, and it caught everyone off guard. Then the finale has you being chased by Freddy Krueger as you move across an unstable suspension bridge in a dense fog. It is worth noting you can only experience this ride 3 times per day, which is why the employees put a mark in your wristband when you reach the end of the queue line. But with the long lines this attraction draws, I doubt you'd be able to wait that many times and keep your sanity. Castel dels Contes is a weird funhouse and walkthrough. It is tucked in the lower level of the park and easy to miss, but it has an aggressive sliding staircase at the start. There aren't too many other effects, just some visuals, but you have some fun scenes and fairy tales brought to life. Interactivity is a small ride from Triotech combining 3D, a motion simulator base, and shooting elements all into one attraction. These can be found at many places across the globe, but they're always fun, especially in the smaller setting like this where you can easily tell where you're firing. Then there's the Didi Dabo 3D cinema, and finally, there's a museum with the park's history. Unfortunately, I missed the latter due to time constraints, but it looks really cool from photos and videos. If you want to get wet, your primary option is Mina d'Or. This is a rare Reverchon log flume with a custom layout. It uses the hilly terrain well at the start, especially for the double down. This drop can get you quite wet with a heavy boat. Then both drops have an itty bitty pop of airtime for good measure. Then there's an assortment of kiddie rides in each level. I like how they're spread throughout the park to encourage families to explore each area. They are placed in clusters so kids can bounce from ride to ride in short succession before moving on. Moving on to the food, this park seemed to have 1 or 2 food stands in each level at least. Most seem to focus on snacks. We didn't buy any full meals here, but the French fries were quite good and reasonably priced for an amusement park. So do I recommend Tibidabo? Absolutely. This is a one-of-a-kind park between the views and attractions. The park knows that the view is special, and multiple rides take full advantage of that. And some of those observation rides cannot be found anywhere else. My biggest issues with this park are the low throughput on some of their premier attractions, and the lack of thrill rides. Arriving early is the way to mitigate the first problem. As for the second, thrills are just not what this park is about, and I knew that going in. Go to PortAventura if you want the crazy coasters. Tibidabo is a far more relaxing park that's meant for families, and it truly excels in that area. So those are my thoughts on Tibidabo in Barcelona, Spain. What are your thoughts on this hilltop amusement park? Can you think of a park with a better view? Let me know down in the comments, or if you have any thoughts on the park as a whole. If you enjoyed this review, I would appreciate it if you gave this video a like, and you considered subscribing, because there'll be a lot more roller coaster and amusement park videos here at Canopy Coaster. Thanks for watching.